Fernando Alonso has once again delivered a statement that cuts straight through hype, optimism and carefully crafted narratives, and it could not have come at a more critical moment for Aston Martin. At a time when much of the paddock is already talking about the team as a guaranteed frontrunner for 2026, Alonso has introduced a far more uncomfortable idea: that success is not automatic, that timing matters more than promises, and that even the most ambitious projects can stumble if reality arrives faster than integration. That alone is enough to change how Aston Martin's entire 2026 campaign should be viewed. What makes Alonso's words so powerful is that they are not emotional, defensive, or reactionary. They are calculated, measured, and rooted in decades of experience watching Formula One projects rise and fall. While others point to Aston Martin's facilities, recruitment, and manufacturer status as proof that results are imminent, Alonso focuses on something far less visible but far more decisive: cohesion. In his view, talent does not win championships on its own. Timing, structure, and internal alignment do. On paper, Aston Martin look unstoppable. The factory is complete, the wind tunnel is fully operational, and the team now operates from one of the most advanced facilities in the sport. Adrian Newey leads the technical direction. Enrico Cardile brings Ferrari-level aerodynamic experience, and Andy Cowell provides deep power unit and operational knowledge. Very few teams can assemble that level of expertise simultaneously, and that is precisely why expectations have skyrocketed. However, Alonso immediately challenges the assumption that elite names automatically equal elite performance. He points out that many of these people are new to the organization, new to each other, and new to Aston Martin's internal processes. Formula One is brutally unforgiving to teams that underestimate how long it takes to align decision-making, development philosophy, and operational rhythm. A few months of collaboration rarely replaces years of shared understanding. This is where Alonso's central question becomes so disruptive. He openly asks whether a handful of months is enough to glue everything together, or whether Aston Martin will need an entire season to truly function as a unified operation. That single doubt reframes 2026 from a guaranteed breakthrough into a potential transitional year, and that shift alone alters expectations inside and outside the team. The regulation reset amplifies the risk. The 2026 rules are not incremental. They are transformational. The cars will be lighter, shorter, and narrower, with active aerodynamics fundamentally changing how downforce is generated and managed. This alters braking behavior, corner entry philosophy, and overall vehicle balance. Drivers will need to relearn how to extract performance, and engineers will need to rethink how aerodynamic efficiency interacts with energy deployment. The power units represent an even greater unknown. With a near 50-50 split between electrical and internal combustion power, drivers will no longer simply deploy energy on straights. Energy management will influence every phase of the lap, including corner exit, mid-corner stability, and braking zones. This increases the cognitive load on drivers and the demand for precise, real-time communication with engineers. For Aston Martin, this challenge is magnified by their transition to a full works manufacturer with Honda. Moving away from Mercedes' customer power is not just a supply change. It is a philosophical one. The entire car must now be designed around Honda's power unit architecture, cooling requirements, and energy recovery systems. That level of integration is complex, time-consuming, and extremely sensitive to early design decisions. Alonso understands this better than most. He has seen manufacturer projects succeed and fail across different eras, and he knows that even the best engine can be compromised by poor integration. His caution reflects an awareness that Honda's potential will only be realized if Aston Martin's chassis, aerodynamics, and software operate in perfect harmony with the power unit from the very beginning. The struggles of the 2025 season provide important context. Aston Martin found themselves trapped between two objectives, unable to fully commit to immediate performance, while already diverting resources towards 2026. The AMR25 inherited limitations from late 2024, and with development split, progress stalled. Alonso's description of the season as being in the middle of nowhere reveals how damaging that lack of direction became. That difficult season now increases the stakes. By sacrificing short-term competitiveness, Aston Martin have effectively placed all their chips on 2026. Any delay in delivering performance next year will be magnified by the knowledge that multiple seasons were already compromised in preparation. Alonso's realism reflects that pressure. One area where Aston Martin could quietly gain an advantage is fuel. With fully sustainable fuels mandated for 2026, power unit performance will depend not just on hardware, but on fuel chemistry and combustion efficiency. Aston Martin's partnership with Aramco could become a decisive factor if their fuel delivers superior energy density or combustion stability compared to rivals. This aspect of the regulations is often underestimated. Fuel development remains an area with meaningful freedom, and small gains can translate into measurable power advantages. Aramco's prior experience supplying sustainable fuels to Formula 2 suggests they are not entering this era unprepared. If their fuel interacts optimally with Honda's combustion design, Aston Martin could unlock performance others struggle to match. Reliability may also return as a competitive variable. The current era has produced almost bulletproof power units, reducing unpredictability. The 2026 engines, with their increased electrical complexity, may reintroduce failure points. Teams that master reliability early could gain massive championship leverage, particularly in the opening races. Aerodynamically, expectations around Adrian Newey are enormous, but Alonso's caution applies here too. Newey's designs are concept-driven and aggressive, often requiring time to optimize. If the initial concept is correct, Aston Martin could leap forward dramatically. If not, the recovery curve could be painful regardless of reputation. Internal restructuring shows Aston Martin are aware of these risks. Andy Cowell's move into a strategic role strengthens coordination with Honda, while Newey focuses on performance philosophy rather than day-to-day management. These decisions suggest a team trying to avoid fragmentation, but alignment takes time, not announcements. What makes Alonso's intervention so disruptive is that it challenges the most dangerous assumption in modern Formula One. That momentum guarantees success. Aston Martin have done everything a team is supposed to do on paper, but Alonso refuses to let preparation be confused with readiness. By declining to attach a deadline to success, he removes the illusion of inevitability and replaces it with accountability. Something far more uncomfortable for any ambitious organization. His words subtly reframe 2026 from a destination into a test. Not a test of facilities or resumes, but of integration, discipline, and decision-making under pressure. Formula One has seen countless dream teams fail because belief outpaced execution. Alonso has lived through those cycles, and his refusal to promise instant results is rooted in memory, not pessimism. There is also a strategic intelligence behind this stance. By lowering external expectations without lowering internal standards, Alonso creates breathing room for development. early struggles under the new regulations would not automatically be labelled failure, but part of a larger learning curve. That psychological buffer could be invaluable in a season where adaptability may matter more than raw pace. Crucially, Alonso's realism protects Aston Martin from turning ambition into fragility. When teams publicly commit to instant success, every delay becomes a crisis. Every mistake a referendum on leadership. By shifting the focus to process, Alonso shields the project from self-inflicted pressure while keeping the ultimate objective firmly in sight. This approach also reinforces Alonso's role within the team. He's not simply a driver chasing results, but a reference point for perspective. His voice carries weight because it is detached from hype and grounded in experience. In an era where optimism is often performative, his restraint becomes a form of leadership. As 2026 draws closer, Aston Martin now face a more honest benchmark. The question is no longer whether they should be competitive, but whether they can convert alignment into performance quickly enough to capitalize on a regulation reset that will not wait for anyone. Alonso's comments ensure that this reality is acknowledged rather than ignored. Ultimately, his statement does not dampen belief. It sharpens it. It removes fantasy and replaces it with focus. And in a sport where timing defines legacies as much as talent, that clarity may prove more valuable than any headline-grabbing promise. If Aston Martin succeed in 2026, it will not be because expectations were loud, but because execution was precise. Alonso understands that difference. By saying it publicly, he has not weakened the project. He has given it the best possible foundation to succeed when it truly matters.